Ever feel like you're, navigating a linguistic obstacle course? You hear a word, sounds so much like another, but the meaning is, well, miles apart.
Oh, yeah. And a classic English learner frustration, isn't it?
Totally. And get this, our source material for today, this YouTube video transcript, it actually grapples with a whopping 67 of these confusing English words.
67. Wow.
Yeah. Kind of makes you realize you're definitely not alone in this struggle.
It really shines a light on a key aspect of mastering English, doesn't it? It's not just about building a big vocabulary.
Right.
It's about developing that keen ear and eye for these subtle distinctions that can completely change the whole message.
Absolutely. And that's exactly where we're diving deep today on the deep dive. We've got excerpts from that very video transcript. It's a real treasure trove of linguistic puzzles. Our mission, should you choose to accept it, and well, you're already listening, so you have, is to equip you with a much sharper understanding of some of the most common and frankly confusing English words. We want to inject a bit more confidence into your English.
Right, so you can speak and understand without that nagging feeling of like, am I using this right?
Exactly.
Think of this as your insider's guide to untangling some of the naughtiest parts of English vocabulary. We'll be pulling out the crucial differences and looking at real examples from the source, aiming to make these distinctions, crystal clear.
So how do we even begin to tackle this mountain of vocabulary?
Good question.
We're going to take it step by step. First, we'll zero in on confusing nouns. Then we'll get our heads around some tricky verbs.
Okay.
And finally, we'll sort out those similar sounding adjectives. We'll even pepper in some of those quiz-like questions from the transcript just to keep things engaging and, test our understanding.
Sounds like a plan.
Okay, let's unpack this, starting with nouns. And what better place to begin than job versus work?
Ah, yes. This is such a foundational distinction. As the source points out, a job that refers to a specific paid position you hold. It's your official role.
Okay.
You might say, she applied for a new job at the law firm. Very concrete. The takeaway here, think specific role for job.
Specific role, got it.
And general effort for work helps avoid sounding unnatural.
Right. And work then is more about the general effort, the tasks you do, the labor itself.
Less about the formal title.
So you could ask, do you like your job?
Yeah.
The specific role, but also, do you like your work? Focusing more on the day-to-day stuff.
Precisely. And interestingly, the transcript mentions native speakers often use them interchangeably in that kind of question.
Why do you think that is?
That's a great question. I think it's because in many contexts, the general feeling about the tasks involved kind of overlaps with the satisfaction you get from the specific role,
Makes sense.
But for learners, keeping that core distinction in mind, specific position versus general effort, that's really key for accurate usage. What's also fascinating is the grammar. Work often acts as a collective noun. You wouldn't typically say a work in the same way you'd say a job. It's usually, I have so much work to do, work stays singular there.
Exactly. The transcript throws in a perfect quiz example. He's looking for new, but finding a good takes time.
Right.
And the answer, of course, he's looking for new work. The general effort of seeking employment, but finding a good job, a specific position, takes time.
Perfect illustration. Really lays it out clearly.
Okay, next up, a pair that often causes a stumble. Story versus history.
Yeah, the fundamental difference here is that blend of fact and fiction. A story is a narrative. It can be rooted in reality or purely imaginative, and it's told for various purposes: entertainment, education, sharing experiences. Think about the phrase, tell a story.
Right. Character's plot.
Exactly. It evokes all that.
Whereas history, as our source underscores, is a factual account of past events. Like, the book is based on real history, not fiction. That's a crucial dividing line.
It is.
So if I were to say, my grandfather always told fascinating stories about the war, that would be different from saying, my grandfather lived through a significant period of history.
Precisely. The stories, while maybe based on historical events, are his personal narratives, his way of recounting his experiences.
Okay.
The history is the broader factual record of that period. Notice also the prepositions we often use. The story about versus the history of.
Oh, boy.
The transcript also highlights verbs commonly associated with history, like learn, read, discover, discuss, debate, all actions tied to, factual inquiry.
And another quiz to really nail this down. He told a funny history. but it had nothing to do with actual.
An easy one.
Yeah. He told a funny story, but it had nothing to do with actual history. You wouldn't really tell history in the same way, would you?
Not in that narrative sense, no.
Okay, let's move on to two words often used around a major life event. Wedding versus marriage. Why do these tend to get mixed up?
Well, I think the confusion arises because one leads directly to the other, right? The wedding is the specific event, the ceremony where two people become married.
The big day.
Exactly. A single occasion. Yep. Date, time, location. Were you invited to their wedding? That's a natural question for the ceremony.
But marriage is the ongoing thing, the legal and social union after they're married.
Yeah. It's not a singular event. You can ask, when is your wedding?
Yeah.
It's a point in time. But it sounds, well, odd to ask, when is your marriage? Instead, you'd ask, how long have you been married?
Yeah.
Focusing on the duration of the relationship.
So the wedding is the start, marriage is the journey. Got it.
Exactly. The transcript provides a really stark example. Their wedding didn't last long, which would imply the event itself was maybe rushed or even called off.
Okay.
In contrast, their marriage didn't last long, means their relationship ended after they were married. Two very different implications.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. And the quiz solidifies it. They're beautiful, but there has been full of challenges. Their wedding was beautiful, but their marriage has been full of challenges.
Yeah.
You attend a wedding, you're in a marriage.
Spot on.
All right, let's tackle a pair that's all about spelling and, crucially, pronunciation.
Yeah.
Desert with one S and dessert with two S's. What's the key here?
It really comes down to stress and those extra S. Desert ones refers to that dry, arid land, sparse vegetation.
Like the Sahara.
Exactly. And the stress, it falls on the first syllable. D-is. Think vast, sandy landscapes. The tip here, one's dry place, stress on D-is.
Okay, dessert.
And dessert, two S's, is that delightful sweet course you enjoy at the end of a meal.
Cake.
Ah.
Yes.
Yes. Here, the stress is on the second syllable. Dessert. Think sugary treats. Two S's, sweet thing, stress on dessert.
Dessert.
Okay. The transcript offers a fantastic sentence to drill the pronunciation. After crossing the desert, we enjoyed a delicious dessert.
I hear it. After crossing the desert, we enjoyed a delicious dessert.
Hear how the stress shifts. Makes all the difference. And just to be super clear for you listening, the phonetic spellings are Eva's sort for the dry land.
Dessert.
And Deva's suit for the sweet treat.
Desert. Got it. Absolutely. Now, let's chew on price versus cost. They often seem interchangeable, but there's a significant distinction. What's the core difference?
Okay, so the price is basically the amount of money you need to pay to buy something. It's what you see on the price tag.
Straightforward. What's the price of that new phone?
Exactly. Cost, however, it encompasses the total expenditure. All the direct and indirect expenses associated with getting or using something.
Like hitty fees.
Sort of. The transcript's example is spot on.
Yeah.
The cost of studying abroad is high when you factor in tuition, housing, food, and transportation.
Right. The price might just be the tuition fee.
But the overall cost includes everything else you have to pay.
Okay.
And cost can also function as a verb. How much does this cost?
Right. You wouldn't say, how much does this price?
No. Price mainly operates as a noun in that way. The concept of total cost, as the transcript mentions, really highlights those additional, often less obvious expenses beyond the initial price tag. So the quick tip, price is the tag, cost is the total outlay.
And the quiz neatly wraps this up. The adunk of the car was low, but the long term of insurance and maintenance is high.
Yeah.
The initial price of the car might have been attractive, but the total cost of ownership over time turns out to be considerable. Okay, let's consider two words relating to likelihood. Chance versus opportunity.
Okay, so chance refers to the possibility or probability of something happening. It's a more neutral term.
Like, there's a 60% chance of rain today.
Exactly. It doesn't inherently carry a positive or negative judgment.
But opportunity is different.
Yes. Opportunity is a favorable set of circumstances. It presents itself for achieving a goal or some positive outcome. It has a definite positive connotation.
Like, this scholarship is a fantastic opportunity.
Precisely. To further your education. Notice how we often modify these words, too. We talk about a slim chance or a good chance, focusing on probability. With opportunity, we use positive adjectives. Great, amazing, golden, emphasizing how advantageous it is.
So quick tip. Chance is neutral possibility. Opportunity is positive possibility.
You got it.
And the quiz reinforces this. This internship is a real, and you have very little of winning the lottery. A real opportunity, something beneficial to pursue, and very little chance. A low probability of winning the lottery. Makes perfect sense. Let's move on to the financial realm with loan versus debt.
Okay. A loan is a specific amount of money that's borrowed and needs to be repaid, usually with interest.
Right, you take out a loan for a house or a car.
Exactly. It's the act of borrowing a defined sum. Debt, on the other hand, is the total amount of money that is owed. It's the accumulation of all your outstanding loans and other financial obligations.
So you have debt because you took out loans.
Pretty much. A loan is a transaction, debt is the state of owing.
Grammatically, debt is often treated as a collective noun. So you typically say, I have a lot of debt, not usually I have many debts in these general contexts.
Good point.
Also worth remembering, as the transcript does, the silent B in debt, it's pronounced debt.
Debt, right. No B sound.
Nope.
And the quiz clarifies the relationship. Debt had helped him buy the motorcycle, but now he has to manage his debt.
So,
The loan made the purchase possible, but now he's dealing with the debt, the total sum he owes. Right, now we have another spelling and sound pairing. Suit versus sweet. What's the key here?
it's all about that middle vowel sound and, of course, the meaning. Suit refers to a set of matching garments, jacket, trousers, often formal.
Like for an interview.
Exactly. The pronunciation is suit, rhymes with boot. It can also mean a legal action, but that's a different context.
Okay, to suit.
Suite, however, refers to a set of connected rooms, often in a hotel.
Ah, the fancy hotel room.
Usually, yeah. The pronunciation is sweet, rhyming with sweet, like sugar. It can also mean a collection of software programs.
Swist.
Yeah.
So we like you and suit, E like C and sweet.
That's a good way to remember it. The transcript provides a clear illustration. He wore a navy blue suit so set to the interview. Our hotel suite suit had a beautiful ocean view.
Different spellings, different sounds, totally different things.
Completely.
And the quiz tests this directly. Why are you wearing your in this? The answer. Why are you wearing your suit so sit in our sweet swits? A slightly comical image.
Indeed.
Okay, next up, receipt versus recipe. Another pair where spelling and pronunciation are the trick.
Okay, receipt. That's the little piece of paper you get after buying something. Proof of payment.
Right, keep it for returns.
Exactly. And that P, silent. The pronunciation is recentist.
Thanks.
But with a silent pen.
Recis, got it.
Recipe, on the other hand, is a set of instructions for preparing food.
Like for baking a cake.
Yep. The pronunciation is recipe. Stress on the first syllable. Think
Recipe.
recipe.
The transcript highlights how using words like lost or need immediately tells you which word is meant. I lost the receipt, can't verify the purchase.
Right.
I lost the recipe. Dinner might be interesting.
Huh. And the quiz puts it together. I kept the recipes for the groceries, and I followed to bake the cake.
So,
You keep the receipt, troncity to track spending, and you follow the recipe, troncity to bake. Simple when you focus on the meaning. Now, let's look at morale versus moral. These sound so similar.
they really do. The key lies in that middle vowel sound and the context. Morale refers to the overall confidence, enthusiasm, spirit of a group.
Like team morale.
Exactly. Team morale, employee morale. The pronunciation has a longer A sound. Sunjarel. Think high team morale leads to success.
Moral, however, relates to principles of right and wrong, or the lesson you learn from a story or experience.
It's like the moral of the story.
Precisely. The pronunciation has a shorter O sound. Evitrate.
So, the tip, ale in morale, group spirit, or in moral, right or wrong, context is crucial here. Employee morale improved clearly refers to the team spirit. The moral of the story gives you that ethical takeaway.
And the quiz reinforces this. The captain's speech boosted the teams and taught an important about perseverance.
So the speech improved.
The team's morale measured all and conveyed a moral Mansell lesson. Right, we're zipping through these. Let's look at resident versus resident.
Okay. Resident, that's a person who lives in a particular place. You're a resident of your city.
Simple enough.
Residence is the place where someone lives. His official residence is on Park Avenue.
So, person versus place.
Exactly. But the transcript points out a common point of confusion, especially in spoken English. The plural residence, the people, sounds very similar to the singular residence, the place.
Oh, I can see that. Residence, very close.
Yeah, you really have to listen to the context.
The quiz highlights this potential confusion. The new shoe has space for 50. The new residence, the building has room for 50 residents.
Correct.
The people living there. Okay, last noun pair in this section. Weather versus climate. Often discussed together, but quite different.
They are. Weather describes the short-term atmospheric conditions right now, today. Temperature, rain, wind.
Like what's the weather like outside?
Exactly. It changes day to day, even hour to hour. Climate, on the other hand, refers to the long-term average weather patterns in a region, usually over decades.
So asking about the climate gives a general idea, not today's forecast.
Right. What to expect year-round, generally. So weather is the now, climate is the average over time.
Okay.
The transcript provides a clear example. We had to cancel the picnic because of the bad weather, short-term issue. But changes in climate are leading to more extreme heat waves. That's a long-term trend.
Got it. And the final noun quiz. The in the mountains can change very quickly, but the soul is generally cold and snowy throughout the year. The weather in the mountains is unpredictable, but the overall climate is cold and snowy. All right, we've navigated a good chunk of tricky nouns. Ready to tackle some verbs that often trip people up.
Absolutely. Let's start with hear versus listen. Such a common area for mistakes. What's the fundamental difference?
Okay, hear is passive. Your ears just do it automatically without you really trying.
Exactly. Passive reception of sound. I could hear the traffic outside. It's about the ability to perceive sound.
Listen, though, is active, intentional. You have to focus.
Right. It requires conscious effort. If someone asks, "Are you listening to me?" they want to know if you're actively processing what they're saying. So hearing is passive, listening is active.
The transcript gives some helpful phrases. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Asking about ability. Did you hear that noise? Often just checking if you registered a sound. But you listen to music, listen to a lecture. It needs concentration.
Good point about listen to. And here's a challenge for you listening. Try to make a sentence using both hear and listen correctly.
Ooh.
The transcript offers a perfect example. I can hear the birds singing outside, but I'm not really listening to them. I'm focused on my work.
Ah, nice. You perceive the sound, but you're not actively engaging with it. Excellent exercise. Okay, next up. Say versus tell. This distinction can be surprisingly subtle. What's the key?
Often, the key is what follows the verb. Tell typically needs a person as the indirect object. You tell me a story, tell your friend the news.
Right. Could you tell me what time it is?
Exactly. Say, on the other hand, doesn't necessarily need that direct person object. You can just say hello, say it's raining.
Okay.
If you do include a person after say, you usually need to, like, what did you say to him?
So tell directs the info to someone. Say is more about the message itself.
That's a good way to put it. The transcript also notes common collocations. We tell the truth, tell lies, tell a story.
Right. You don't really say the truth.
Not usually in the same way, no. Also, tell often emphasizes the content, while say can just report the words spoken.
Here's another sentence challenge for you. Try to construct one using both say and tell correctly.
Let's see. The transcript gives us, she said that she always tells the truth.
Ah, perfect. Shows how they function differently. Now, let's move on to two verbs for verbal communication. Speak versus talk.
Okay. Speak tends to be a bit more formal than talk. It's often used in more formal settings like presentations.
Or languages. She speaks fluent Spanish.
Exactly. You might give a speech or speak to the audience. Talk is generally for more casual conversations, discussions, exchanges.
Like, let's talk about our vacation plans.
Right. Both speak about and talk about are grammatically correct, but speak about often carries that slightly more formal, maybe one-way connotation.
So speak is a bit more official. Talk is more relaxed.
That's the general idea. The professor spoke about the research, sounds like a lecture. The students talked about the project, sounds more like a discussion. And asking, can we talk, is a common way to start a less formal chat.
Time for another sentence challenge. Combine speak and talk.
The transcripts example. We talked about how she speaks 3 different languages.
Casual conversation about a more formal skill. Nice. Okay, let's try to clearly define the differences between see, look, and watch. All about sight, but different nuances.
Right. See, much like hear is passive perception. It's just what happens when light hits your eyes, no conscious effort.
Like, I can see the mountains, or did you see that?
Exactly. Look, though, involves a deliberate effort. You direct your gaze towards something specific. It's a conscious action.
Look at the beautiful sunset. You choose to do it.
Right. And watch implies continuous, focused attention on something, especially if it's moving or changing.
So that's why we watch a movie, watch a game, or watch kids playing.
Precisely. There's that element of sustained observation. So, quick recap. See is passive, look is intentional direction, watch is sustained attention.
The transcript makes a good point, though. We often say, see a movie, even though it moves.
Yeah, that's true. I think in that context, see focuses more on the act of attending the event, going to the cinema.
Ah, okay. But you definitely wouldn't say, let's see TV tonight.
No, definitely let's watch TV.
Okay. And here's a combined sentence challenge for this trio. Use see, look, and watch in one coherent sentence.
Ooh, tricky. The transcript offers a clever one. He looked out the window and saw a bird land on the branch, so he watched it for a few minutes.
Looked, action. Saw, passive perception. Watched, sustained attention. That's a great illustration.
Okay.
Okay, let's shift focus to movement verbs. Bring versus take. Direction is key here, right?
Absolutely key. Bring indicates movement towards the speaker or the person being referred to.
So if I'm here and you're there, I'd say, can you bring me the book?
Exactly. The book needs to come to your location. Take, conversely, indicates movement away from the speaker or the person referred to.
Like, can you take the trash out? It goes away from here.
Perfect. So bring is towards, take is away. Directional words like here and to often give clues. You bring something here. You take something to a destination away from here.
Got it. Time for a sentence challenge using both.
Okay, the transcripts example. Could you bring your notes to the meeting and then take the minutes back to the office?
Movement towards the meeting, then away from the meeting. Makes sense. Now, let's consider fit versus suit, related to appearance and suitability.
Right. Fit is primarily about size and physical dimensions. Does it match your body size?
This shirt doesn't fit. It's too small. Or these shoes fit perfectly. Physical compatibility.
Exactly. Suit, on the other hand, is about whether something is flattering, appropriate, or compatible with your style, personality, even a situation.
Like that new hairstyle really suits you. Or that color suits you.
Right. It's about aesthetic harmony or appropriateness. You might also say, living in the countryside really suits her personality if it aligns well with her lifestyle.
So fit is size, suit is style, or appropriateness.
That's the core difference.
Sentence challenge time. Use both fit and suit.
Transcript offers, this dress fits well, but I'm not sure if the bright color suits me.
Size is right, style might be wrong. Got it. Now let's tackle learn versus teach. Two sides of the same educational coin.
Okay. Learn is the process of acquiring knowledge or a skill. I'm trying to learn guitar. You're receiving, internalizing.
And teach is the opposite, giving knowledge or skill.
Exactly. My sister's going to teach me how to bake. It's imparting instruction. So learn is receiving, teach is giving.
The transcript highlights a common error, saying, I'm learning this lesson when you mean I'm studying this lesson.
Right. Learning generally implies you've actually acquired a new skill or piece of knowledge from the lesson. Studying is the process.
Okay, good distinction. Sentence challenge. Use both learn and teach.
Transcript example.
Yeah.
My grandfather is going to teach me how to garden so that I can learn how to grow my own vegetables.
One shares expertise, the other gains skill. Perfect. Now let's look at lend versus borrow. Giving and receiving temporarily.
Okay, lend means to give something to someone temporarily, expecting it back. Could you lend me your pen?
Structure is lend someone something or lend something to someone.
Right. Borrow means to receive something from someone temporarily, intending to return it. Can I borrow your notes?
And the structure is borrow something from someone.
Correct. The transcript rightly points out that can you borrow me money is incorrect.
Yeah, that sounds wrong. It should be can you lend me money or can I borrow money from you?
Exactly.
Sentence challenge.
Yeah.
Use both lend and borrow.
Transcript gives us, my roommate is happy to lend me his bike, but I always make sure to borrow it carefully.
One offers, the other receives temporarily.
Got it. Now, remember versus remind, related to memory.
Okay. Remember is when you recall something spontaneously from your own memory.
Like, oh, I just remembered it's my friend's birthday.
Exactly. Remind is when someone or something causes you to remember. It prompts your memory.
Could you remind me to buy milk? Someone else jogging my memory.
Right. So remember is internal recall. Remind is external prompting. The noun form reminder is useful too. I set an alarm as a reminder, which means the alarm reminds me.
Perfect. Sentence challenge. Use both remember and remind.
Okay.
Transcripts example. I often forget things, so please remind me to call my mom later. Hopefully I'll remember then.
One person's memory needing a nudge. Nice. Finally, for verbs, we have wait versus stay.
Right. Wait means to pause your activity and remain somewhere until something happens.
Please wait here until your name is called. Or, I've been waiting for the bus. Expecting something to follow the pause.
Exactly. Stay means to remain in a particular location for a period of time without necessarily that same expectation of an imminent event.
Like you should stay indoors if the weather's bad. Just remaining in a place.
Precisely. So wait is pausing for an event. Stay is remaining in a location.
Last verb sentence challenge. Use both wait and stay.
Transcripts example. I'll wait for you at the entrance while you stay inside and finish your conversation.
One pauses for the other who's remaining inside. Phew! That was a workout with verbs. Ready to dive into some tricky adjectives.
Absolutely. Let's kick off with envious versus jealous. Both describe negative feelings about others, but the focus is different.
Okay. Envious is wanting something someone else has.
Exactly. She was envious of her neighbor's beautiful garden. It's longing for what they possess.
And jealous is fear of losing something you have.
Right. Because of someone else.
Yeah.
Insecurity. He was jealous when his partner started spending time with a new colleague. It's about protecting what's yours.
So envious is wanting their thing. Jealous is fearing losing your thing or person.
That's the core distinction. The transcript gives a good quiz. Mark felt of his friend's new promotion and when his friend started collaborating closely with his own mentor.
Okay, he's envious of the promotion he wants in.
Right.
And jealous of the collaboration, fearing it might affect his relationship with his mentor.
Spot on. And remember the prepositions. Typically envious of something and jealous of someone or something.
Got it. Okay, let's look at two adjectives describing age-related behavior. Childish versus childlike. Very different connotations here.
Very different. Childlike has a positive connotation, suggests qualities like innocence, wonder, enthusiasm.
Like she has a childlike curiosity. It's charming.
Exactly. Childish, however, is negative. It implies immaturity, silliness in a bad way, behaving poorly like a young child.
His temper tantrum was quite childish. Not charming?
Not at all. So childlike is positive innocence. Childish is negative immaturity.
The transcript's quiz clarifies. The artist's work had a simplicity, but his constant need for attention was rather...
So the simplicity is...
childlike, a charming quality. But the neediness is childish, an undesirable trait.
Perfect.
Now, anxious versus eager. Both describe anticipation, but the feeling is different.
Right. Eager describes positive anticipation, excitement, enthusiasm about something coming up.
They were eager to start their vacation, looking forward to it.
Exactly. Anxious describes negative anticipation, worry, nervousness, unease about a future event.
Like she felt anxious about her job interview, feeling stressed.
Right. So eager is positive anticipation, anxious is negative worry.
The transcript gives us another quiz. The students were to receive their grades, but the teacher seemed a bit room-kenning them while handing them out.
Okay, students probably feeling...
Eager, maybe.
Yeah.
With anticipation. And the teacher might have been anxious about how the grades would be received.
That interpretation works well.
Right. Let's move on to age comparison.
Yeah.
Elder versus older. How do these differ?
Elder is primarily used for family members, specifically meaning born before another.
Okay.
My elder sister.
That's a bit formal.
It can, yeah. Older is more general, used for people and things to indicate greater age.
Yeah.
My older car. And interestingly, as the transcript points out, even with family, native speakers often just use older. Elder can sound a bit old-fashioned in everyday chat.
But elders plural is still used.
Yes, elders plural is common for older people, respected for wisdom in a community.
Okay. And the quiz reflects this nuance. He is the count of the two brothers, but his house is much than theirs. While elder is technically correct for the brother, many would just say older for both him and the house.
That's generally true for native speakers, yeah.
Now, effective versus efficient,
Yeah.
often used in professional contexts. What's the difference?
Okay. Effective means it works. It achieves the desired result. The new ad campaign was very effective in boosting sales.
It got the job done.
Right. Efficient means it achieves the result with minimal waste, time, money, effort.
So something can be effective, but not efficient.
Exactly. While the campaign was effective, it wasn't very efficient because it cost a fortune. So effective is about results. Efficient is about results with minimal waste.
Got it. The transcript gives another quiz. The study method is for memorizing vocabulary, But it's not very because it takes so much time.
So it works, but...
It might be effective you learn the words, but not efficient if it takes ages.
Precisely.
Now let's look at respectable versus respectful. Both relate to respect, but how?
Okay. Respectable describes someone or something worthy of respect. Duty, character, achievements, status.
She's a highly respectable member of the community. Deserves respect.
Right. Respectful describes someone who shows respect towards others through their behavior.
The students were very respectful towards their teacher. They behaved respectfully.
Exactly. So respectable is deserving respect. Respectful is showing respect.
The transcripts quiz highlights this. The guest speaker was very talk-white, and the audience was very during his presentation.
So the speaker was
Respectable, maybe famous, or accomplished. And the audience was respectful, attentive, polite.
Makes sense. Another quiz. Despite their differing opinions, they always engaged in debate and treated each other as colleagues.
Okay, the debate itself was respectful, showing regard.
Yes.
And they treated each other as respectable colleagues, acknowledging their professional standing.
That fits perfectly.
Okay, let's consider lonely versus alone. Both about being by oneself, but one's emotional.
Right. Lonely describes that feeling of sadness or isolation from lack of connection. It's a negative emotion.
Even if you're surrounded by people, you can feel lonely.
True. Alone simply describes the physical state of being by yourself. It's neutral.
She enjoys spending time alone, just being solitary.
Exactly. So lonely is a feeling of isolation. Alone is a state of being solitary.
The transcript offers another quiz. Working from home can sometimes make you feel on, even though you appreciate the chance to be and focus. Lack of interaction can make you feel lonely, even if you like being alone to concentrate.
Quick example.
Now, incredible versus incredulous. Both relate to belief, but in opposite ways.
Okay. Incredible means unbelievable in a positive sense. Amazing. Fantastic.
An incredible victory, an incredible view.
Right. Incredulous describes someone who is unwilling or unable to believe something. Skeptical.
Like he gave me an incredulous look when I told him. Disbelieving.
Exactly. So incredible is amazing. Incredulous is disbelieving.
The transcripts quiz. The magician performed an air trick, leaving the audience completely interrupted.
So the trick was?
Incredible.
Yeah.
Amazing. And the audience was incredulous. They couldn't believe their eyes.
Perfect.
Right. Let's move on to famous versus infamous. Both mean widely known, but the reason is different.
Yes. Famous means widely known, usually for positive things, achievements,
A
qualities.
famous actress, a famous landmark.
Right. Infamous means well known for something bad, negative, scandalous.
An infamous criminal, an infamous disaster. And the transcript reminds us about pronunciation stress on the first syllable. Infamous.
Correct. Infamous. So famous is known for good, infamous for bad.
The transcripts quiz. The chef became for his innovative cuisine, but later became for his controversial business practices.
Ah,
Initially famous for cooking, later infamous for bad stuff.
exactly.
Now, a tricky pair that sound identical, complimentary with an I and complimentary with an E. How do we keep these straight?
Okay. Complimentary with an I, C-O-M-P-L-I, has two main meanings. First, given free of charge.
Like complimentary drinks.
Right. Second, expressing a compliment or praise. Complimentary remarks about my presentation, saying nice things.
Okay, free or praise. Got it. And with an E, C-O-M-P-L-E.
Complimentary, with an E, describes things that enhance each other or go well together. They complete each other, in a way.
Like the red wine was complimentary to the steak. They pair well.
Exactly, a harmonious pairing. So I for free or praise, E for things that go well together.
The transcripts quiz tests this. The museum offered us a ticket, and the guide's knowledge was truly to our understanding of the exhibit. The free ticket is complimentary with an E. The guide's knowledge enhancing understanding is complimentary with an E.
Right on.
Okay, let's look at continual versus continuous. Both suggest repetition, but how does it differ?
Okay, continual means happening repeatedly, but with breaks or interruptions.
Like continual rain, it rains, stops, rains again, on and off.
Exactly, not constant. Continuous means happening without stopping, ongoing, no interruptions.
The continuous flow of traffic, nonstop.
Right, so continual has breaks, continuous is nonstop. The transcript acknowledges that sometimes, like, the baby's crying was exhausting. Either could technically work depending on the exact nature of the crying.
Yeah, was it nonstop or just frequent?
Exactly. But the transcript offers a quiz designed for a clearer distinction. The dripping of the faucet was annoying, while the noise from the construction site made it impossible to concentrate.
Okay, the dripping would likely be continual. Drip, pause, drip.
Probably.
And the construction noise is probably continuous, just a constant barrage.
That seems the most logical fit, yeah.
Finally, for adjectives, let's look at fun versus funny. Both positive, but different kinds of enjoyment.
Right. Fun describes something enjoyable, something that gives pleasure.
We had a fun day at the beach, had a good time.
Exactly. Funny describes something that causes amusement or laughter.
The comedian's jokes were really funny, made you laugh.
Right. So fun is enjoyable, funny makes you laugh. The transcript rightly points out you probably wouldn't call a serious concert funny, though it might be fun to attend.
Makes sense. The final adjective quiz. The party was so because the host told so many stories. The party itself was fun, enjoyable. And the reason was the funny stories that made people laugh.
Perfect sense.
Wow, we have truly plunged into a deep dive of these confusing English words today. Hopefully this exploration has, illuminated the nuances for you listening.
Absolutely. And it's crucial to remember, as our source material highlighted, that even native English speakers can occasionally stumble over these words. It's really normal.
Yeah, definitely. It's an ongoing aspect of language learning, so don't be discouraged if some of these distinctions still need a bit of thought.
Take a moment now, maybe reflect on which of these word pairs or groups surprised you the most, or which ones you've personally found tricky in the past.
Yeah, just identifying those areas is a big step towards mastering them.
And this brings up a key question for you, our listener. How might a deeper understanding of these, seemingly subtle vocabulary differences actually enhance your ability, not just to comprehend native speakers better, but also to express your own thoughts and ideas with more precision, more confidence?
That's a great thought. We encourage you to actively notice these words now, in your future reading and listening. See them in action.
Definitely. The English language is, it's a vast and constantly evolving landscape. The journey of learning it is continuous.
It really is. We sincerely hope this deep dive has served as a valuable tool in your exploration, providing some clarity and maybe a few of those rewarding moments.
Okay, let's unpack this. The English language. It really can be, confusing sometimes, can't it?
Oh, definitely.
Even when you feel like you're getting pretty good, there are these sneaky little word pairs or phrases that just trip you up.
Absolutely. They sound alike, or the meanings overlap just enough. And that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Welcome back, everyone.
Yeah, welcome back to another deep dive. This is where we take some really interesting material that you, our listeners, send over to us, and we try to pull out the most useful bits.
And this time we got a really good one. A listener was curious about common English confusions and sent us a transcript from a YouTube channel, Interactive English.
Right. The lesson was called Super Confusing Words, 1 hour vocabulary lesson. And it's just packed with those words that, make you pause.
Exactly. So our mission today is to work through some of these linguistic puzzles, make those distinctions really clear.
And hopefully boost your understanding and, your fluency overall. Think of it as unlocking some of those trickier bits of English.
All right, let's dive in. First up, a classic source of confusion, between versus among. And sometimes you even hear amongst, right?
Yeah, that one pops up too. The main thing to remember is really about the number of items or people and how distinct they are.
Okay.
So between is usually your go-to when you're talking about two specific separate things or people. It suggests more of a one-on-one kind of relationship.
Like the example in the transcript, keep that between you and me, just two people involved.
Exactly, a direct link. Or that idiom they use, between a rock and a hard place. Two distinct, unpleasant options.
Right, makes sense. So among.
Among or amongst comes in when you've got more than two, and maybe the group feels a bit less defined, more general.
Ah, okay.
The source used the example, share it among all of your friends. It's not naming specific pairs, just the whole group.
So two specific things between, more than two, maybe less defined among. What about amongst then? You mentioned it pops up. The source said it felt a bit old-fashioned.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it feels now, especially in American English. It's seen as older, definitely less common than among.
So you wouldn't really use it much?
Probably not in everyday conversation. You might see it in older texts or set phrases like their example, talk amongst yourselves. But generally, yeah, stick with among.
Okay, good tip. Stick with among. Next pair. Reluctant versus reticent. These feel similar, maybe about not wanting to do something.
They do feel close, but the difference is subtle, and it's about why someone is holding back. Reluctant means you're unwilling or hesitant to do something, There's resistance to the action itself.
Like the example being reluctant to put together a presentation. Maybe you just don't have the time or energy.
Exactly. It's about the task. Now, reticent is more about personality or manner. It means being reserved, shy, or unwilling to speak freely.
Okay, so it's more internal about communication.
Precisely. It's less about the task and more about a natural tendency towards quietness or reserve. So, you could be reluctant to prepare the presentation, maybe because it's boring, but you might be reticent to actually give the presentation because you get nervous speaking in front of people.
Got it. Reluctant don't want to do the action. Reticent, hesitant to speak or reveal things. That's a really useful distinction.
It is, yeah.
Okay, moving on. Achieve versus accomplish. Both sound positive, like success.
They both signal success, but the nuance is kind of about the journey versus the destination.
How so?
Well, achieve often emphasizes the effort, the desire to reach a goal. It can imply something ongoing, a process. Like their example, achieve English fluency.
Right, that's not something you just finish one day. It's continuous.
Exactly. Whereas accomplish usually means to finish something successfully. It points to a completed task, an endpoint.
Like accomplish a mission. Done and dusted.
Precisely. You achieve a level or a state, often over time, and you accomplish the specific task or objective.
Okay, that makes sense. Now, let's talk business speak for a moment. Customers versus clients.
I feel like I generally know this, but sometimes it seems fuzzy. It can be fuzzy, yeah.
Yeah.
The general rule of thumb is customers buy products or standard services. It's often more transactional. Think buying groceries, clothes.
Like the source said, shopping at the mall, those are customers.
Right. Clients, on the other hand, usually receive professional advice, support, or personalized services. Think lawyers, architects, consultants.
So hiring a lawyer makes you a client because you need their specific professional expertise.
Exactly.
Yep.
It often implies a deeper relationship, more tailored help. The confusion, as the source pointed out, often comes in business-to-business contexts. Because one company using another's services, well, are they a customer or a client? It can depend. If it's just buying a standard software package, maybe customer. If it's ongoing strategic consulting, probably client. Sometimes the terms get used interchangeably there.
So the nature of the relationship matters most. Transactional purchase versus ongoing professional service.
That's a good way to put it.
Okay, next up, oh boy, figuratively versus literally. This one gets misused all the time.
Doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's become almost a running joke. So figuratively means you're using words imaginatively, not realistically. You're painting a picture, exaggerating for effect.
Like the example, figuratively speaking, people were kicking down the doors. They weren't actually breaking down doors.
Right. It just means they were extremely eager. And literally, of course, should mean something actually happened. It's real, factual.
We were literally just talking about you, meaning the conversation was genuinely about that person right before they showed up.
Exactly. The problem is people now use literally for emphasis when they mean figuratively or just very.
Like, I literally died laughing, or I literally haven't slept in weeks.
Precisely. Which, if true, would be quite something.
Yeah.
But it's usually just hyperbole. So if you want to be precise, use literally only when something actually factually happened.
Good advice. It's almost like literally is being used figuratively now, which is kind of ironic.
It really is.
Yeah.
Okay, next. The little abbreviations e.g. and i.e. These show up in writing a lot. Easy to mix up.
Definitely. I always have to do a quick mental check. E.g., i.e.
Okay, so e.g. comes from Latin, exempli gratia, and it means, for example, you use it to list one or more examples of something.
Like the source's example. Eat more foods high in protein, e.g. tuna, broccoli, chicken. Just a few samples.
Exactly. It opens the door to possibilities.
Yeah.
I.e. also comes from Latin, id est, meaning that is, or that is to say. You use it to clarify or specify something more precisely.
To narrow it down, essentially.
Right, like hotels raise prices during high season, i.e. May to August. It's defining exactly what high season means in this context. Or the restaurant is closed one day a week, i.e. Mondays.
Okay, so e.g. examples, i.e. in other words, or specifics. That's a helpful way to remember. E.g. gives you options, i.e. gives you the definition.
Exactly.
All right, next we have consecutive versus concurrent. They sound similar.
They do. Consecutive means one after another in sequence without interruption. Think winning 3 consecutive games, one, then the next, then the next.
Like the source's heat wave example, one ends, the next one starts right away.
Precisely. It's sequential. Concurrent, on the other hand, means happening at the same time simultaneously.
So concurrent heat waves would be happening in different places all at once.
Yes, exactly. Multiple events overlapping in time. Consecutive is sequence, concurrent is simultaneous.
Got it. Simple when you put it like that. Now, the source moved into phrasal verbs, which can be a real headache. First pair. Burn up versus burn down. Both involve fire.
Right. Both mean destroyed by fire, broadly speaking, but there's a nuance. Burn down often implies a structure, like a house, a building, a bridge being destroyed, often to the point of collapse.
Okay, so burn down makes you think of something falling down.
Often, yes. Whereas burn up is frequently used for smaller individual items being completely consumed by the fire. Think paper, photos, maybe wood in a fireplace. The idea of being totally consumed is key for burn up.
So my letter's burned up, but the old barn burned down.
That's a good distinction, though burn up also has those other meanings, right? Like using energy burn up calories or having a fever burning up.
Right. Context again.
Always. And the source noted that for past tense destruction of buildings, burn down is probably more common. My house burned down last year.
Okay. Makes sense. Next paraphrasal verbs. Walk up versus walk down. I use these all the time without thinking.
Most people do. Both can just mean walking to a place.
Okay.
But there's a subtle geographical hint sometimes. Walk up might suggest going uphill.
And walk down suggests downhill. Seems logical.
It does. On flat ground, honestly, they're often interchangeable.
Yeah.
The source suggested walk down might be slightly more common just generally in spoken English, like a walk down to the shop.
Okay.
But walk up has that other meaning too, approaching someone or something, often with confidence or purpose.
Like she walked up to the microphone?
Exactly. Or you walked up to his boss and asked for a raise. There's a sense of directness there.
Interesting nuance. And does this apply to drive up and drive down too?
Loosely, yeah. Same geographical hints might apply, but they're probably even more interchangeable when just talking about driving somewhere. Drive down might still be slightly more common overall.
Good to know. Okay, next pair. Take off versus lift off. Airplane related.
Mostly, yeah. Both mean an aircraft leaving the ground. But liftoff often has a stronger sense of moving straight up.
Like a rocket. Or a helicopter.
Perfect examples: rockets, helicopters, hot air balloons, drones, things that primarily ascend vertically at first. Liftoff emphasizes that vertical movement.
So takeoff is more general.
Yeah, takeoff can be used for pretty much anything that starts flying planes, using a runway, birds, insects, and yes, rockets and helicopters too. It's the more all-purpose term. Liftoff is just a bit more specific about that vertical ascent.
Okay, takeoff for general flight, lift off for that straight up vertical start. Makes sense. Now for a grammar one that's purely about spelling because they sound identical, used to versus used to.
Ah, yes, the classic. This really trips people up in writing. Okay, used to, spelled U-S-E-D-T-O, is a modal verb phrase. It talks about past habits or states that are no longer true.
Like, I used to play guitar, meaning I did it regularly in the past, but I don't anymore.
Exactly. Or, there used to be a cinema here. A past state. It acts a bit like other modal verbs, but it's always followed by to and the base form of the verb.
And the tricky part is questions and negatives, right?
That's where the spelling changes. For questions, you use did you used to. Notice U-S-E, no D.
Did you used to live here?
Perfect. And for negatives, I didn't used to. Again, U-S-E.
I didn't used to like coffee.
Right. So the D disappears when did or didn't is used. Now, the other one,
Also pronounced used to.
is actually an adjective phrase.
Right.
Be used to or get used to. This means being accustomed or familiar with something.
Right.
It's about the present state of familiarity.
Like, I live in Florida, so I am used to hot weather.
Exactly. It's about your current adaptation or familiarity. And here the spelling always stays U-S-E-D. Are you used to the noise? I'm not used to getting up so early.
And this one is often followed by a noun or a gerund, the ing form.
Very often, yes. I'm used to the humidity. I'm
Yeah.
used to driving on the left. You'll get used to it. The key is the meaning. Past habit state versus present familiarity, accustomedness.
That's a fantastic breakdown. The spelling change with did is the real key for the first one.
It is.
Okay, the source then went into homonyms, words that sound the same, or more specifically, homophones, where the spelling is different too.
Right. And they started with that fun riddle.
The cow and chicken one, 30 cows, 28 chickens, how many didn't?
And the answer is 10 cows didn't. Because 28 chickens ate.
It perfectly shows how you rely on context when listening.
Absolutely. And then they rattled off a whole list of common pairs.
They did. Let's see. Flower, flower.
Garden versus cooking.
Addition.
Mass versus publishing.
Click, click.
Computer sound versus exclusive group.
Patience. Oh, wait, those sound the same. The patience is the medical one. Patience is waiting calmly. My mistake.
Ah, good catch. Then moose.
Animal versus dessert or hair stuff.
Yeah.
Metal. Element versus interfere. And you mentioned the American teeth sound, making those very close.
Yeah, that flap T's can sound just like a D.
All
Then horse.
Animal versus rough voice. Principle.
School leader or main thing versus a rule or belief. That's a big one.
Yeah, definitely. Gorilla.
Ape versus fighter.
Core.
Center versus military group with that silent T's in core from French.
Right. Sweet.
Taste versus set of rooms. Also French origin for sweet. And the triple.
Cis.
Oceans, looks, and grabs. Phew. That's a lot, and it just highlights how important listening carefully to the whole sentences.
No kidding. Okay, almost there. Prepositions of place, in, on, at. These feel basic, but the confusion they can cause.
They really can. The source rightly said all three can be correct. It just depends on the context. It usually suggests being inside something, enclosed, or within a larger boundary.
Like in the box, in London, in the water, in my pocket. Containment.
Exactly. Containment or being within an area. On usually refers to a surface or being attached or positioned along a line.
On the table, on the wall, on the second floor, on the bus, on the road, on page 5, surface or line.
Perfect. And at typically indicates a specific point, a precise location, or a place associated with an activity.
Like at the door, at the bus stop, at 7 p.m., at the party, at school, at work, at home, a point or specific location event.
That covers the main uses really well. And remember their lake example. You could be swimming in the lake, have a house on the lake, meaning by the shore, or meet someone at the lake as a meeting point.
Context is everything. And they had that mini quiz, which was helpful.
Yeah, let's quickly recap those. A mistake. On the first page, surface. Proud. At the end, point in time journey. No toilets in the city center area. Anything in your pockets, enclosed.
Okay.
Sit. At the front specific point, refer to the graph on the slide surface.
Great review. Okay, last pair. The verbs say versus tell. We use these constantly.
We do, and the meanings overlap enough to cause trouble. Generally, say is just about uttering words. It doesn't always need a specific listener mentioned.
Like, he said hello, or the instructions say to wait. Just reporting the words.
Right. Tell usually implies communicating information to someone specific. It normally needs an object the person being told.
She told me the news. Can you tell him to call me?
Exactly. You tell someone something. But then there are those fixed phrases.
The exceptions.
Yeah, like tell a story, tell a joke, tell a lie, tell the truth, tell a secret. In those, tell works a bit differently. More like recount or reveal.
Those are just patterns you have to learn, I guess.
Pretty much. And the listening quiz helped nail that down.
Right. Don't tell lies. Say your answer again. Didn't say hello. What did you tell me?
Perfect. It reinforces that tell usually needs that who.
Well, that was quite the journey through some really common English confusions based entirely on that listener's suggestion and the interactive English lesson.
It really covered a lot of ground.
I definitely feel clear on quite a few of those points now.
That's the goal. And hopefully you listening feel the same. Maybe take a second now to think which of those distinctions was the most helpful for you. What will you listen out for or be more careful with going forward?
Yeah, definitely worth reflecting on. And, thinking about all these little nuances, it makes you wonder, doesn't it?
Wonder what?
Well, just considering how much complexity is hiding in plain sight in everyday words, what other simple words or phrases might we be using without fully appreciating all their shades of meaning?
That's a really interesting thought to end on. What other linguistic icebergs are out there where we only see the tip? Something to keep an ear out for.
Welcome to the Deep Dive. We take your curiosity, find some really good sources, and basically pull out the key knowledge you need to get up to speed fast.
Exactly. And today, we're jumping into something I think, pretty much everyone learning English bumps into.
Oh, yeah. What's that?
Those really confusing words.
Yeah.
The ones that look or sound similar but mean totally different things.
Ah, yes. The classic pairs can definitely be tricky.
For sure. We've got a great suggestion to cover this, and we're using a fantastic YouTube video as our guide. It's called 42 Confusing English Words in 45 Minutes from the Jade Forest English channel.
Great resource. So we're kind of translating that visual guide into audio clarity for you.
That's the plan. Our mission today. Unpack these common mix-ups. Getting these right will seriously level up your English understanding and how you use it. You'll feel way more confident.
Sounds good. So where does the video start us off?
Sensibly, with some tricky verbs. And the first pair is one we use constantly, hear and listen.
Okay, hear and listen. Yeah, I can see how those get confused. The video kicks off with a quiz question.
It does. Okay, here it is for you. I couldn't the speaker because of the loud noise. Think about it.
And the answer is hear. I couldn't hear the speaker. So let's break that down. Why hear? What's the core difference?
Well, the key thing about hear is that it's passive. It's just sound hitting your ears. It's a sense, like touch or sight. You don't really try to hear.
Right, it just happens. Like me asking you now, can you hear me? I'm just checking if the sound's getting through.
Exactly. Or, did you hear that awful noise last night? You probably didn't want to, but your ears picked it up.
Passive reception. And the video mentions using it for news, too. Like, did you hear Sarah got the promotion? You just became aware of the info.
Precisely. Now listen. That's different. That's active. It takes effort. You're paying attention to the sound. Intentionally.
Okay, so it involves focus. Like if I ask, are you listening to me? I want to know if you're actually concentrating on my words, not just if you can physically hear my voice.
Got it in one. Or saying, I like to listen to podcasts while I drive. That's a conscious choice, an active engagement with the sound.
And the video had that great challenge sentence, didn't it?
Yes. I can hear music in the background, but I'm not listening to it. That just nails the difference. Sound is present here, but focus isn't directed. Listen.
Perfect illustration. Okay, subtle but important. What's the next confusing pair the video tackles?
Next up are say and tell. Oh boy, another classic source of confusion.
Definitely. So the quiz question for this one is, can you ask me what happened at the meeting?
And the answer here has to be tell. Can you tell me?
Right. So what's the rule of thumb here? Why tell?
The big clue is that tell almost always needs a person as the object. You tell someone, like the me in the quiz. That's your signal.
Okay, so you tell your boss, tell her, tell us. Examples like, you should tell your manager you need a break.
Exactly. Now, say is different. It doesn't require a person right after it. You can just ask, what did you say?
But if you do mention the person you said it to.
Then you usually need to. What did you say to him? Or, she said to me that she was leaving.
Got it. And the video highlighted a common mistake, right? Something like, she said me to go.
Yeah, that's incorrect.
Yeah.
You say, she told me to go, or maybe she said I should go, but not she said me. Tell takes the direct object person. Say often needs to, if a person is mentioned.
Good distinction, and there's a nuance and emphasis, too.
Yeah, say often focuses more on the words that were spoken, like quoting someone. Tell often emphasizes the act of informing the person.
Okay. And those fixed phrases, collocations.
Right, like we always tell the truth and tell lies. We don't really say the truth. It just sounds wrong.
Good ones to remember. So the challenge sentence was,
She always tells the truth. This is what she said. It shows both. Tells, informing someone implicitly, and said, referring to the actual statement.
nice. Okay, pair number 3 from the video.
Speak versus talk. Again, some overlap, but important differences, especially in formality.
All right, quiz time again. She 3 languages fluently.
That one's got to be speaks. She speaks 3 languages.
And the video points out that speak is the go-to verb for languages, right? Like speak French or improve your speaking skills.
Absolutely. That's a hard rule. But beyond languages, speak often sounds a bit more formal than talk.
Okay, how so? Give me an example.
Well, think about a conference. You'd say, the CEO spoke about the company's future. It sounds like a formal presentation.
Right, or who's speaking at the event tonight?
Exactly. Talk, on the other hand, is more for everyday conversation. We talked about our plans for the weekend. Much more casual.
So you could say, he talked about the new project in the meeting, which sounds less formal than he spoke about it.
Precisely. Or asking a friend, hey, can we talk later? You wouldn't usually say, can we speak later? Unless it was very serious or formal.
Got it. Formal speak, casual talk, generally speaking.
Yeah.
And the challenge sentence combined them.
Yeah. We talked about how she speaks 5 languages, uses talked for the casual chat, and speaks for the language ability.
Makes sense. Okay, what's next? We're moving through these verbs.
Next, we get a trio. See, look, and watch. All about using your eyes, but in different ways.
Right. The quiz, I always TV after dinner.
And the answer is watch. I always watch TV.
Okay, let's unpack them. See is like here, isn't it? Passive.
Exactly. It's just your eyes registering something. It happens automatically. I can't see anything without my glasses. Or, wow, did you see that flash of lightning? You didn't try. Your eyes just saw it.
Okay, passive. See, then look.
Look involves directing your eyes intentionally. It requires effort and focus. Think of instructions. Look at the board. Or don't look down.
The video had examples like, you need to look at your audience, right? Focusing your gaze. Look at me.
Perfect examples is a deliberate action. Then there's watch.
Which is more about sustained looking.
Yes, usually it's something that's moving or changing over time, like the TV example. You watch a movie, you watch a football game, you watch children playing.
So watch out for that car implies paying attention to something moving.
Right. You need to keep observing it. The video also mentioned that phrase, do you want to see a movie this weekend?
Yeah, that uses see, but it means attend or go to, right?
Yeah.
Not the same as watching the screen itself. You wouldn't say, let's see TV.
Exactly. It's watch TV. And the challenge sentence pulls them all together nicely.
Remind me.
He looked at the painting, deliberate focus, then saw the artist watching him from across the room, passive noticing of the artist who was actively observing.
Ah, okay. Looked active, saw passive, watching, sustained active. Got it. Moving on.
Next pair. Bring and take. These are all about direction.
Okay. The scenario was, I'm in the living room. Can you give me some water?
And the answer is bring. Can you bring me some water?
Because the water is coming towards me, the speaker.
Exactly. Bring implies movement towards the speaker or the point of reference. Bring your homework here.
And take is the opposite. Movement away.
Precisely. Can you take these boxes to the garage? Moving away from where we are now. Or a waiter asking, shall I take your plates? Taking them away from you.
So don't forget to take your umbrella when you leave. Moving away with you.
Yep. And the video rightly points out you wouldn't say take those files here. It should be bring those files here because here is towards you.
Makes sense. The challenge sentence.
Could you bring the documents to my office? Towards my office. And then take these files back to yours. Away from my office. Clearly shows the directions.
Very clear. Okay, next we have fit and suit, often related to clothes.
That's right. The quiz. Do you think this color me?
Color. That sounds like suits. Does this color suit me?
You got it. Fit is purely about the size and shape. Is it physically the right dimension?
Like, these shoes don't fit, they're too tight, or the key fits the lock perfectly. Physical match.
Exactly. Suit, however, is about whether something looks good on you, complements your style, or is appropriate for your personality or situation.
So the color example. Or that jacket style doesn't really suit him. It might fit okay size-wise, but the style isn't flattering.
Right. Or even broader things, like living in the countryside really suits them. It matches their lifestyle preference.
So it can be about appearance, style, or even appropriateness for a person or situation. The challenge sentence was good for this.
It was. This jacket fits perfectly, but I don't think it suits me. Size is right, fits, but the style or look, suits, isn't working for the person.
Okay, fit is size, suit is style appropriateness. Got it. What's next?
Learn and teach. Another pair that learners often mix up.
Oh, yes. The quiz. Can you mic me how to use this software?
And the answer is teach. Can you teach me?
So teach is giving knowledge and learn is receiving it.
That's the core idea. You learn for yourself. You acquire the skill or knowledge. The video mentioned avoiding, I'm learning this lesson, maybe preferring I'm studying this lesson or I'm learning new things from this lesson.
Yeah.
Learn is the internal acquisition.
Okay. And teach is the external action of giving that knowledge to someone else. My dad taught me to drive. She teaches English online.
Exactly. You teach someone something. The challenge sentence sums it up. I'll teach you the basics of chess so you can learn how to play on your own. Giving instruction, teach, enables independent acquisition, learn.
Clear distinction. Okay, next pair involves giving and receiving temporarily.
Lend and borrow, always a tricky one.
The quiz. Can you owe me $20 until tomorrow?
That would be lend. Can you lend me $20?
So lend is the action of the person giving the item temporarily.
Correct. You lend something to someone. I lent my car to my brother, or I lent my brother my car. The lender is the subject.
And borrow is the action of the person receiving the item temporarily.
Yes. You borrow something from someone. I borrowed this book from the library. The borrower is the subject.
And the common mistake is mixing them up, like asking, can you borrow me some money?
Right. That's incorrect. It should be, can you lend me some money? You want the other person to give, or can I borrow some money from you? You want to receive. That from is key with borrow.
Got it. Lender lends, borrower borrows from. The challenge sentence.
You can borrow my clothes, but there's no way I'm lending you my car. Shows both perspectives clearly.
Okay, makes sense. We're getting near the end of the verbs.
2 more verb pairs. First, remember and remind. All about memory.
Quiz. Can you meet to call the office at 3 p.m.?
That needs an external prompt, so it's remind. Can you remind me?
So remember is recalling something yourself from your own mind.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Oh, I just remembered it's her birthday today. It's an internal process.
And remind is when someone or something else makes you remember.
Yes, you remind someone to do something. I reminded him about the deadline. Or this song reminds me of my holiday. An external trigger for a memory.
Like setting a reminder on your phone, the phone reminds you.
Precisely. The noun is reminder. The action is remind. The challenge sentence. I rarely remember my appointments, so can you please remind me to go to the dentist? Shows the need for that external help. Remind, because the internal recall, remember, isn't reliable.
Okay, remember is internal, remind is external prompting. Last verb pair.
Wait and stay. Both about not leaving, but different reasons.
The scenario. You should at home today if you feel sick.
That sounds like stay. You should stay at home.
So stay means remain in a place or condition.
Generally, yes. Stay here, stay calm, stay in bed, remaining put.
And wait, what's the nuance there?
Wait implies pausing or delaying action until something else happens. There's usually an expectation. Wait for the green light. I'm waiting for my friend.
So you wait for something or until something. Wait until I'm ready.
Exactly. You stay in a place, but you wait for an event or person. The challenge sentence combined them. I'll wait for the package at the office, pausing until it arrives, while you stay with the kids, remain in that location.
Wait for an event, stay in a place. Got it. That's the verbs done.
Yep. Now the video moves on to confusing nouns, starting with job versus work.
Oh, big one. Quiz. She applied for a new offer merit at the law firm.
That sounds like a specific position, so job, a new job.
Right. So job is the specific, often paid position of employment.
Correct. A specific role. Work is more general. It refers to the tasks, the effort, the activity you do. It can be paid or unpaid.
The video mentioned native speakers sometimes use do you like your job and do you like your work interchangeably.
Yeah, casually they can overlap. Job might focus slightly more on the title position, work on the actual tasks and responsibilities. But there's a key grammatical difference.
Which is?
Work is often uncountable. You have a lot of work, not a lot of works, usually. You get a new job, but it sounds weird to say a new work in that context.
Right. So you find work, but you apply for a job, and work can be a verb too. I work hard.
Exactly. The video had another good quiz for this. He's looking for new fab, but finding a good takes time.
Okay, looking for the general thing, that's work.
Yep.
Finding a specific position, that's a job. So work, then job.
Spot on. Next pair. Story and history.
Narratives. Quiz. The book is based on real not fiction.
Real events from the past. That must be history. Based on real history.
So history is the factual record of the past.
Yes. Events that actually happened, supported by evidence. Story can be true or fictional. It's a narrative, an account told for interest or entertainment.
Like telling a bedtime story fiction, or telling the story of how you met someone could be true.
Exactly. The video compared the story about the company, might be anecdotal, focus on characters, versus the history of the company. A more factual chronological record. We tell a story, but we study history or learn history.
So factual versus potentially fictional narrative. The other quiz.
He told a funny day, but it had nothing to do with actual day.
Okay, funny anecdote, story. Actual past events. History.
Perfect. Next, wedding and marriage. Related but different concepts.
Quiz. Were you invited to their wedding?
That's the event, the ceremony. So, wedding. Invited to their wedding.
Right. Wedding is the specific event on a specific day.
Yes. The party, the ceremony, the vows. Marriage is the long-term relationship, the legal state of being married.
So you have a wedding day, but you talk about the length of a marriage. How long have you been married? Not how long have you been wedding.
Exactly. The video contrasted their wedding was beautiful, the event, with their marriage lasted 50 years, the relationship.
And the other quiz. There was a beautiful zaw, but there has been a full of challenges.
Event first, wedding, relationship after, marriage. Got it. Now for a pronunciation nightmare pair.
Oh no, desert and dessert?
The very same.
Yeah.
One Z's versus two E's and different stress.
Okay, quiz. The Sahara is the largest in the world.
Dry, sandy place. That's desert. D-E-S-E-R-T. Stress on the first syllable. Desert.
And the sweet thing after dinner.
That's dessert. D-E-S-S-E-R-T. Stress on the second syllable. Dessert.
Like stress because you want it so badly.
Maybe. The practice sentence was good. After crossing the desert, we enjoyed a delicious dessert. Dessert.
Need to practice that one. Okay, next. Money words.
Price and cost.
Quiz. The iantad of studying abroad is high when you factor in tuition, housing, food, and transportation.
All those factors together sound like the total expense.
Yeah.
So cost, the cost of studying abroad.
Right, so price is the sticker amount for one item.
Usually, yes. The amount you pay at the till. What's the price of this laptop?
And cost is the total expense involved, which might include more than just the initial price, like running costs or the cost of living.
Exactly. You ask, how much does it cost?
Yeah.
Verb, or what's the total cost? Noun, including everything. The other quiz highlighted this. The BN of the car was low, but the long term of insurance and maintenance is high.
Initial amount, price, long-term expense, cost.
You've got it. Next, chance and opportunity. Similar, but a subtle difference in positivity.
Okay, quiz. This job offer is a great for your career.
Great suggests something positive and favorable. So, opportunity, a great opportunity.
So opportunity is usually a positive, favorable circumstance?
Yes. A good situation to achieve something.
Yeah.
Chance is more neutral. It's just a possibility or probability.
Like there's a 30% chance of rain. Could be good or bad, just a probability.
Right. You could have a slim chance or a good chance, but opportunity usually implies something beneficial. A golden opportunity.
So there's a chance I could win versus this competition is a great opportunity to showcase my skills.
Exactly. The other quiz. This scholarship is a real rag, and you have no announcement of winning the lottery.
Beneficial scholarship. Opportunity.
Low probability lottery.
Yeah.
Chance.
Perfect. Now, more money words. Loan and debt.
Quiz. We took out a car to buy the car.
Borrowing money for a specific purpose. That's a loan. Took out a loan.
So the loan is the specific sum borrowed.
Yes, usually from a bank or lender that needs to be repaid. You get a loan or take out a loan.
And debt is the overall state of owing money.
Correct. Debt is the total amount you owe, often accumulated from multiple loans or other obligations. You are in debt or have debt. And debt is usually uncountable, a lot of debt. While a loan is countable, several loans.
Generally, yes. And remember that silent B, in debt.
Got it. D. Sarati, the quiz.
So
The Sarati helped him buy the house, but now he has to manage his loan, specific borrowing,
Yeah.
loan, overall amount owed, debt. Makes sense.
Oh, another sound-alike pair coming up.
Suit and sweet.
That's the one. Very different meanings. Quiz. Why are you wearing your area? This relies on context and pronunciation.
Okay, wearing clothes, that's a suit, like foot. In a set of hotel rooms, that's a suite, like suite. So suit, then suite.
Exactly. Suit, clothes, or lawsuit. Suite, connected rooms, or software bundle.
Right. Next tricky pair.
Receipt and recipe. Spelling and pronunciation traps again.
Quiz. I kept the two for the ingredients and I followed the...
Proof of payment for ingredients.
Yeah.
Receipt. Receipt, no P sound. Instructions for cooking. Recipe. R-E-S-I-P. So receipt, then recipe.
That silent P in receipt always gets people... Okay, what else?
Morale and moral. Similar sound, different concepts.
Quiz. The leader's speech boosted the teams and taught an important about...
Team spirit, enthusiasm. That's morale. Lesson about right and wrong.
Yeah.
It's moral. M-O rule. So morale, then moral.
Morale for mood, moral for ethics or lesson. Got it.
Nearly there. Resident and residence. People first places.
Quiz. The new has space for 50...
The building. Residence. The people living there. Residence. So residence, then residence. Easy to mix up, especially since plural residence sounds like singular residence.
Yeah, you have to listen carefully to the context there. Okay, last pair.
Weather and climate. Short-term versus long-term conditions.
Final quiz. What's the like today?
Today's conditions, that's weather. What's the weather like today?
So weather is the day-to-day atmospheric stuff. Rain, sun, wind, temperature.
Yep. Short-term, specific time and place. Climate is the long-term average pattern over years, even decades.
So you ask about the weather today, but the climate in general, like the climate of the Arctic is cold.
Exactly. The video contrasted, we canceled the picnic because of the weather, today's rain, with climate change is affecting global weather patterns, long-term shifts.
And the final quiz sentence?
In the mountains changes quickly, but the outlet is generally cold throughout the year.
Quick changes. Weather. General pattern. Climate.
You nailed it. And that covers all the pairs from the J-Force video.
Wow, that was quite a linguistic workout, but super useful. It really shows how just one wrong word can kind of change the whole meaning.
Absolutely. Understanding these differences is crucial for communicating clearly and accurately in English. Hopefully diving into these has cleared up some confusion for you listening.
Yeah, take a second and think, Which of these pairs was the trickiest for you? Or was there one where the explanation just clicked, that aha moment?
It really makes you appreciate the nuances, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
And it leads to a final thought, maybe. How does paying attention to these small details actually help you express yourself more precisely? It's not just about understanding others, right?
That's a great point. It sharpens your own thinking and expression, too. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive into the sometimes confusing, always fascinating world of English words.
We hope it's given you some clarity and confidence. Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're tackling something that catches a lot of English learners out, those adjective pairs that look or sound similar but mean quite different things.
Yeah, they can be real stumbling blocks. We're using a great YouTube video from J Forest English as our base today.
Yeah.
It covers 21 of these tricky pairs.
So think of this as a focus session to, clear up that confusion, get those nuances sorted, and help you speak with a bit more confidence.
Exactly. If you've ever hesitated between, say, envious and jealous, or maybe childish and childlike, well, this is for you. Our aim is to unpack them and hopefully give you a few of those aha moments.
Okay, let's jump right in then. First pair up. Envious versus jealous, a real classic. The video starts with a little quiz scenario. Sarah was of her coworker's promotion, and of the coworker spending more time with their boss. What's the gut feeling there?
Well, for the promotion, envious seems to fit, right? She wants what the coworker has.
Yeah, I think so. Wanting the thing itself.
And then for the time with the boss, that feels more like jealous. It's more about a relationship dynamic, potentially losing out on something you value, like that connection or attention.
Okay, so envious is wanting what someone else has. The promotion, the fancy car, the skill.
Right. Like the video example, Anna being envious of her friend's vacation, she wants that experience too. Or, maybe you're envious of someone's great public speaking skills.
Got it. And jealous is more about the fear of losing something you have or feel you should have, often in a relationship context.
Precisely. That fear of being replaced or losing affection or status. Sarah might feel her relationship with the boss is threatened.
That makes sense. Like the examples of feeling jealous if your partner talks to an ex, or if your best friend makes a new close friend, you worry about your own place.
Exactly that fear. And the video gives another quick test. Mark felt of his brother's new car.
Okay, that's got to be envious. He wants the car.
And of all the time he spends repairing it with their father.
Ah, so that's jealous. He's not envious of fixing a car, probably, but he's jealous of that shared time, that bonding experience with their dad.
You've got it. It's about the focus wanting the object versus fearing the loss of connection or time.
Okay, clear. Let's move to the next pair, where the feeling, the sort of connotation is key. Childish versus childlike.
Right. The scenario here is Emma has a sense of wonder, but can act when she doesn't get her way.
Sense of wonder sounds positive, so childlike,
like
acting out when she doesn't get her way. That sounds negative, immature, so childish.
Exactly. It's all about that positive versus negative spin, even though both relate to children. Childlike usually points to the good stuff, innocence, enthusiasm, wonder.
Like having a childlike curiosity about the world, which is generally seen as a good thing. Or that pure childlike amazement.
Whereas childish implies the less desirable traits, immaturity, throwing tantrums, being petty, refusing to cooperate. It's behavior we expect kids to grow out of.
Right. An adult sulking because they lost a game that's childish.
Definitely. And the video has another one. The artist's work had a simplicity, but his refusal to accept criticism was rather upsetting.
Okay, simplicity in art could be good, refreshing. So childlike simplicity.
Makes sense.
But refusing criticism? That's stubborn, immature, childish refusal.
Perfect. The connotation guides you.
All right, next up. Anticipating things. Anxious versus eager.
Ah, yes. The quiz. Olivia was to start her new job, but felt about making a good first impression.
Well, starting a new job, you'd hope she's looking forward to it. Excited even. So eager.
That feels right. Positive anticipation, excitement, enthusiasm.
But worried about the first impression. That's nervousness. Maybe fear of not doing well. That sounds anxious.
Exactly. Anxious carries that weight of worry, unease, negative anticipation about what might go wrong.
Yeah, it's that knot in your stomach feeling. New job, big presentation, exam results, common triggers for anxiety.
Whereas eager is that forward-leaning positive feeling, eager to share good news, eager for a vacation to start.
Okay, let's try the second quiz for this pair. The team was to launch the product.
They'd likely be eager, right? Excited to get it out there after all their work.
Yeah, positive anticipation.
Yeah.
But the investors were about potential risks.
Ah, the investors. They might be more worried about the downside, the financial risks. So anxious.
Makes sense. Different perspectives, different feelings of anticipation. Okay, shifting gears to age. Elder versus older.
Right. Both relate to age, obviously, but the usage is a bit specific. Elder is mostly for people, especially comparing family members by birth order.
Like my elder sister. But the video pointed out something interesting.
Yeah, that even though elder sister is correct, most native speakers, certainly in everyday chat, would just say older sister. Elder can sound a bit formal, maybe even slightly dated.
So older is more common and versatile.
Definitely. Older is the general term. You can use it for people, family or not, and for objects, concepts. An older house, an older tradition. My dog is older than my cat.
But there's that exception, elders.
Ah, yes. The elders referring to older people in a community or family, usually with a sense of respect for their experience and wisdom. That's a specific use.
So you listen to your elders, but you talk about your older brother, generally speaking.
Pretty much, yeah. Okay, quiz time. She is the of the two sisters.
Technically, elder fits the family comparison rule, but her husband is much further than her.
And there, it's just a general age comparison, so older is the natural choice.
Got it. Though I'd probably just say older sister in the first part anyway, like you mentioned.
Me too, most likely. Okay, how about results? Effective versus efficient.
Ooh, important one. The scenario. The new marketing strategy was very heaviest at increasing sales.
Well, if sales increased, it worked. It achieved the goal. So effective.
Right. But it wasn't very, because it took too much time and money.
Ah, the downside. It worked, but it wasted resources. So it wasn't efficient.
So effective doesn't work. Efficient does work without wasting stuff.
Exactly. Effective is about the outcome. Efficient is about the process, the resources used to get that outcome. Ideally, you want both.
Like an effective study method gets you the grades, but an efficient one gets you the grades without pulling all-nighters or spending a fortune on tutors.
Precisely. Okay, second test. This medicine is at treating headaches.
It stops the headache, so it's effective.
But a more solution would be to find the root cause.
Finding the root cause, like stress or diet, would likely be more efficient in the long run, preventing future headaches, less time money spent on medicine.
Makes sense. Addresses the problem smartly.
Okay, let's talk respect. Respectable versus respectful.
Right. Quiz. The professor's students are in his class because he's money.
The students are showing respect, so they are respectful, and the professor deserves respect, maybe due to his knowledge or conduct. So he is respectable, is that right?
Spot on. Respectful is about giving respect, showing consideration. Respectable is about being worthy of receiving respect. Direction is key.
So a respectable job, a respectable institution, things or people worthy of esteem.
Yeah. And being respectful is about your actions listening politely, following rules, considering others' feelings.
Let's try the other one. Despite working in a male-dominated industry, her colleagues are always towards her.
They show her respect, so respectful.
And treat her like an engineer.
They see her as worthy of professional respect, a respectable engineer.
Got it. Okay, now, state of being. Lonely versus alone.
A common confusion. The scenario. Even though he was in the house, he didn't feel because he was busy reading.
Physically by himself.
Yeah.
That's alone.
Yep.
But he wasn't sad about it. He was content. So he didn't feel lonely.
Exactly. Alone is just the physical situation being by yourself. It can be positive, negative, or neutral.
Like, I need some time alone.
Right. But lonely is the feeling, that sadness from lacking connection, that emotional isolation. It's inherently negative.
You can be alone, but not lonely. And sadly, you can be in a crowd and feel incredibly lonely.
Very true. Okay, next example. Although she likes spending time, working remotely can get hell.
She enjoys solitude, likes being alone. But the lack of daily interaction from remote work can sometimes lead to feeling lonely.
Perfect. Physical state versus emotional feeling.
Moving towards belief and disbelief. Incredible versus incredulous.
Okay. Quiz. She had an opportunity to receive a free scholarship abroad.
Wow, a free scholarship abroad. That sounds amazing. Almost unbelievable in a good way.
Yeah.
So incredible.
Yeah, fantastic news. But her parents were when she told them about it.
They might be skeptical, finding it hard to believe such amazing news is true.
Right.
So they were incredulous.
Exactly. Incredible describes the thing. Amazing, unbelievable, positive. Incredulous describes a person's reaction. Doubtful, disbelieving, skeptical.
Like giving someone an incredulous stare when they tell you a wild story.
Precisely. Or the boss being incredulous about that dog ate my homework excuse. Okay, try this. At first, I was of the discount.
Skeptical, maybe suspicious, so incredulous.
But it was an ed deal in the end.
It turned out to be genuinely amazing, an incredible deal.
You got it. Now let's talk reputation. Famous versus infamous.
Right. Scenario. The director is for his blockbuster films.
Blockbusters usually mean positive or neutral widespread recognition. So, famous.
But his former partner became after a scandal on set.
Scandal means known for something bad. So, infamous.
So both mean well-known, but famous is generally good neutral, infamous is bad.
Exactly. Infamous means notorious, known for something negative, like a crime or terrible deed. And the video notes the pronunciation infamous, stress on the first syllable.
Good tip. So a city could be famous for its food, but infamous for its traffic.
Perfect example. Okay, quiz. Martha Stewart, once celebrated as a famous homemaker, later became for her involvement in insider trading.
Well, the insider trading was a crime, a negative thing she became known for, so infamous for that specific reason.
Correct. Though, arguably, she remained famous for her homemaking brand, too. Shows how complex reputations can be.
True. Okay, homophones alert. Complimentary with an A versus complimentary with an E.
Yes, the spelling difference is crucial here. Quiz. The hotel offered us a meal.
A free meal. That's complimentary with an A.
Right, free of charge. Or it could mean giving praise, like a complimentary remark. And the wine paired with dinner was truly A.
The wine went well with the food, enhanced it. That's complimentary with an E.
Exactly. Complimentary with an E means things go well together, complete each other. Like complementary skills on a team or complementary colors.
And they sound the same when you say them.
Yep. Pronunciation is identical. It's purely a spelling meaning difference. Okay, try this. I'm not just being, your skills are truly well.
Not just being complimentary, like, I'm not just saying nice things to be polite. With an E. Your skills are truly complimentary well, meaning they work well together, enhance each other. With an E.
Got it. Nearly there. Continual versus continuous.
This one feels subtle, the scenario. The baby's crying was exhausting.
Could be either, potentially. Let's hold that thought.
And the noise from traffic made it even more difficult to sleep. Okay, continual means repeated, but with breaks, right, like interruptions. Continuous means nonstop, unbroken.
That's the core distinction. So the baby's crying might be continual stopping and starting. The traffic noise might be more likely to be continuous, a constant drone.
So continual happens again and again. Continuous keeps happening without stopping.
Basically, yes. The video gives the example of rain being continual on and off versus continuous nonstop.
Okay, here's their other quiz. Designed for a logical fit. The flow of the waterfall made it easy to catch fish.
Waterfall flow is usually nonstop, so continuous.
Seems likely, but the changes in the water level made it difficult to predict the best fishing spots.
Water level changes probably happen repeatedly, but with pauses or stability in between, so continual changes. That makes logical sense, though context is always key with these two.
Right, and finally the last pair. Fun versus funny.
A nice easy one to finish. Scenario. The party was so strong, especially because of Jake's stories.
The party experience was enjoyable, so fun. Jake's stories made people laugh, so funny.
Exactly. Fun, enjoyable. Funny causes laughter, humorous.
You wouldn't usually say a serious documentary was funny unless something unintentionally hilarious happened, right?
Yeah.
You'd say it was interesting, maybe engaging, but fun or funny might not fit.
Good point. Fun implies enjoyment, funny implies humor. Okay, last quiz. We had a weekend because we saw a really movie.
The overall weekend was enjoyable fun.
Yep.
The movie made us laugh funny.
Perfect. And that's all 21 pairs covered.
Wow, okay. So quite a linguistic workout there. Hopefully that clarifies those distinctions for you listening.
Yeah, knowing the difference really does help you communicate more precisely, more effectively, you could say, and confidently, too.
Absolutely. Maybe take a second now to think which pair was the biggest surprise, or which one have you maybe been mixing up yourself. It happens to everyone.
It really does, and it's a good reminder, isn't it? How these subtle differences in seemingly simple words can actually, significantly change the meaning and impact of what you're saying.
Definitely food for thought. What other everyday English words might be hiding similar complexities, just waiting to be explored? Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping into something really useful for sounding more natural in English.
Yeah, we're talking about idioms specifically, those common ones English speakers use all the time to describe people.
Right. And understanding these is kind of a key, isn't it? Not just for fluency, but for really getting what people mean.
Exactly. We dove into this great YouTube lesson covering 25 of them, and our mission today isn't just, definitions.
Well, we want to explore the feel of them, the nuances.
And why knowing them helps you understand how native speakers actually talk about each other. It's often more colorful than just literal words.
Think of it like getting the inside track. Instead of just saying someone's, say, smart, you might hear something different, more evocative.
Yeah, these idioms are like shortcuts to describing personality, behavior. Adds a lot of richness.
Okay, let's get into it. We can maybe start with the ones that are generally positive. First one on the list. A people person.
Ah, yes. This is a big one. A people person, well, they genuinely like being around others, right? They're good at building relationships.
Like the example given. Jason's a real people person.
He always makes everyone feel welcome. Exactly. It's someone who sort of creates that positive vibe,
Yeah, you know the type. They just connect easily. Okay, next. A go-getter. This one sounds active.
It really does. A go-getter is ambitious, takes initiative, doesn't just sit back.
The example was something like,
The team hired him because he's a go-getter. They push projects forward. It highlights that drive, that proactive quality, which, is often valued.
Definitely. Makes you think, doesn't it? About how much emphasis is placed on that proactive drive. Okay, then there's a smart cookie. I like that one.
Me too. It's like a warmer way to say intelligent or clever, right? More casual.
Yeah, less formal than just smart.
Exactly. The example was, Emma's a smart cookie. She solved that complex problem in no time. Using cookie just makes it sound friendlier, more approachable somehow.
That's a good point. Relatable intelligence. Okay, a social butterfly. The image is great.
It really is. Someone outgoing, loves to socialize, flits from group to group.
Like a butterfly.
Yeah. The example was, as a social butterfly, Pedro always knows what's happening around the office. That, as a construction, really paints the picture.
Totally. You could just see them work in the room. Okay, what about someone known for honesty? A straight shooter.
Right. This is someone direct, honest, they tell it like it is, no messing around.
So reliable for the truth.
Pretty much. I appreciate working with Peter. He's a straight shooter. It implies you can trust what they say, which is valuable.
Definitely. Now, a jack of all trades sounds a bit old-timey, but useful.
It does have that feel sometimes. It means someone's skilled in many different things, but maybe not a deep expert in one specific area.
Like the uncle in the example who fixes computers, plumbing, cooks.
Exactly. And importantly, even though it says jack, it's used for anyone, male or female. It's about versatility.
Good clarification. It's about the range of skills. Okay, last in this positive group. A breath of fresh air. That just sounds nice.
It really captures that feeling, doesn't it? Someone or something new that brings positive energy, a refreshing change.
Like the example, working with Emily has been a breath of fresh air. She brings new ideas.
Exactly. It's like, finally something different and good.
Okay, so those are mostly positive. Now, for some, where the meaning depends a bit more, context matters. First one, a big shot.
Yeah, this one's tricky. It means someone important, influential, powerful in their field.
But the feeling can change.
Totally. Saying, don't worry, he's a big shot, might just be stating a fact, maybe even implying respect. But saying, Evelyn's been acting like a big shot since her promotion. Well, that sounds negative, right? Like she's arrogant now.
Okay. Tone and context are everything. Got it. Next, a dark horse. Sounds mysterious.
It does. A dark horse is someone nobody knows much about, but who might surprisingly succeed, often used in competitions.
Like the example. He was a dark horse in the competition, but won first place. The underdog who triumphs.
Exactly. That element of surprise is key.
Makes sense. Then, a lone wolf. We probably all know someone like this.
Yeah, someone who prefers working alone, avoids group stuff. Like, as a lone wolf, he prefers handling projects on his own.
It works for some people, but is it always the best approach?
That's the question, isn't it? Independence is good, but sometimes you miss out on collaboration, different perspectives.
True. Something to think about.
Yep.
Okay, last one in this category. A creature of habit. I might be one of these.
A lot of us are, probably. It just means someone who likes routines, doing things the same way.
And it can be neutral or slightly negative.
Yeah. Amelia is a creature of habit, so she won't like these changes implies inflexibility.
Right.
But as a creature of habit, I eat the same breakfast every day is just descriptive. It's just how you are.
Okay, makes sense. Right. Now, for the ones that usually lean, well, negative, starting with a couch potato. Pretty clear, this one.
Yeah, I think we all get this. Someone who spends a lot of time inactive, watching TV, on the sofa.
Basically lazy.
Essentially, yeah.
Yeah.
The example, don't be a couch potato, let's go for a walk, is a nudge to be more active.
Definitely not a compliment. Okay, set in one's ways. How is this different from creature of habit?
It's stronger. A creature of habit likes routine, but someone set in their ways actively resists change. They're inflexible.
Ah, okay. More stubborn?
Kind of like the example, my grandmother is set in her ways. She refuses to use a smartphone. It's about that resistance to new things.
Got it. Then, a worrywart. We all know one, right?
Probably. Someone who worries constantly, often about small things or things that won't happen.
Like, don't tell Sarah about the client issue. She's such a worrywart.
Exactly. It points to someone prone to anxiety.
Needs to chill out a bit. Okay, a cheapskate. Ooh, this one sounds harsh.
It is. It means someone really unwilling to spend money, often seen as unreasonably stingy.
Like the popcorn example.
Yeah.
Tim brings his own popcorn to the movies. He's a cheapskate.
Yeah. It implies their frugality goes too far. It's judged negatively.
Definitely not sharing the bill with Tim. Okay, a cold fish. Doesn't sound very warm.
It's the opposite of a people person, really. Someone who seems unfriendly, emotionally distant.
Like Dan may seem like a cold fish.
But maybe he's just shy.
Right.
It suggests a lack of outward warmth or connection. But maybe there's more underneath.
You never know. Okay, a backseat driver. This one's famous, even outside of cars.
So true. Literally, it's someone nagging the driver.
Yeah.
But more broadly, anyone giving unwanted advice or trying to control things from the sidelines?
Like telling someone how to do their presentation when it's not your job.
Exactly. Stop being a backseat driver and let me handle this. It's about interference.
Makes sense. Then a busybody. Sounds annoying.
It usually is. Someone overly interested in other people's private lives, maybe gossiping or meddling.
Like the neighbor always looking over the fence in the example.
Yeah. I wish my neighbor would stop being such a busybody. It implies they cross boundaries.
Someone to avoid sharing secrets with. Okay, a wet blanket. This image is perfect.
Isn't it? Someone who just dampens everyone else's fun. Negative, unenthusiastic.
Like, it's only 9 p.m., don't be such a wet blanket. Kills the mood.
Precisely. They just bring the energy down.
We've all met one. Okay, a loose cannon. Sounds risky.
It can be. It describes someone unpredictable, impulsive, who might cause trouble without meaning to.
He's a bit of a loose cannon. We never know what he'll do next. Suggests a lack of control, maybe?
Yeah, or just unpredictability that can lead to problems.
Not ideal for delicate tasks, I guess. Speaking of delicate thing. A bull in a china shop. I think this might be me sometimes.
A lot of us feel that way. It means clumsy, careless, especially where finesse is needed.
Yeah.
China means porcelain, fragile stuff.
So likely to break things, metaphorically or literally. Like, don't ask Sarah to help move. She's like a bull in a china shop.
Exactly. It's a very vivid way to describe clumsiness or lack of care in sensitive situations.
Very relatable. Okay, a know-it-all. Ugh. Dealing with one of these is draining.
Tell me about it. Someone who acts like they know everything and won't listen to anyone else?
Dismissive of other ideas.
Right. Don't act like a know-it-all. Listen to others. It points to arrogance, being closed-minded.
Not great for teamwork. Okay, a stickler. What's this about?
A stickler insists on following rules very strictly, often inflexible about procedures.
You often hear a stickler for the rules, right?
You do, but often it's shortened, like in the example. Greg is such a stickler, he won't even let us leave 5 minutes early.
Ah, the rule enforcer. Got it. Almost there. The class clown takes you back to school.
It really does. Usually a kid who's always joking, trying to be funny, sometimes disruptive.
Like the example, my son was a class clown, but now he's a big shot.
Yeah, it often has that nostalgic feel when used about adults looking back.
Funny how things turn out. Okay, last one. A tough nut to crack. Sounds challenging.
It is. It can describe a person who's hard to understand or get close to.
Like, Tim is a tough nut to crack. Hard to get him to open up.
Exactly. Or it can describe a difficult problem. This issue is a tough nut to crack. It implies difficulty, needing persistence.
So, applies to people or problems needing extra effort. Okay. That was quite the tour through 25 idioms.
It really was, and you can see how understanding these adds so much depth to comprehending English, right? It's not just words, it's the feelings, the judgments behind them.
Totally. And actually using some of these, appropriately can make your own English sound much more fluent, more natural.
Definitely a shortcut to sounding more like a native speaker sometimes.
So a final thought maybe for you listening. Think about these idioms. Which ones describe people you know? Maybe even yourself.
Yeah, and consider how using these kinds of descriptions, these metaphors, shapes how we actually see and understand each other. It's pretty fascinating when you think about language that way.